Hey everyone, I am back with a review of the Everyday Witch Oracle Tarot deck by Deborah Blake and art by Elizabeth Alba. So I've been working with this deck this month for the month of July. I did get it a few months ago, but I was saving it for July and I have been working with this, so now I feel comfortable doing like a review rather than a first impressions of this deck. So the first thing I have to say is I really appreciate that Llewellyn has stepped up their game with the boxes. I love that you can keep everything in the box, because I really hated it when they had the flimsy boxes and then you would like throw them away. And I always felt bad about that because I like kind of keeping them all in the package, and then you have to go and find a container or a bag or something for the deck. So I'm really, really glad they're doing this. I really love that it's got the little magnetic kind of closure there. I think it's really nice. So I'm very, very glad they stepped up their game with their boxes. They definitely have listened to the feedback. The only thing is it started to peel a bit. I don't know if you can see that there, which is not cool. And it's not like I've been rough with it or anything. It's just been kind of like, you know, it's sitting on a shelf and then it started to peel like that. So I wasn't really happy with that. It's just on the back here. So I do have to say that. The inside's nice. Got the nice hard cover. They've got the design here. They've got the ribbon to pull out, and then you've got this nice guidebook on top. And then you've got it nestled nicely there. So I do really appreciate the design that went into this and that you can keep all your stuff in the box. So that's good. The book, Llewellyn, I have to say, they always do a great job with having the big books, you know, if you buy the kit like that. So this is really nice. This one is about 250 pages, so a nice good size. And the pages are glossy, and I love that they have a full color things that are the full color, what do you call it, thumbnails. Thank you. And it's a nice big one that you see like what the card looks like. And I do really like that they've got this little saying down here that kind of goes with, like, for example, the Hierophant, it says the sacred is everywhere, and then they've got a little saying under here, and then they talk about the cards. So they do give you a nice little chunk of information, but it's not too much, because sometimes I find if it's too much information, you're kind of reading through and you're like, oh, this is too much, but I don't want too short either. So I think that's kind of nice. So I really do like that it is in full color, that it's glossy pages. There's just something really nice about that. It feels really nice. The only thing I think that I don't like is after each one almost, there's this big page of notes. So this book could have actually been smaller, because I think almost a third of it is these blank pages with notes. And I don't know about you, but I never write notes in these books. So I just find that kind of a weird waste of space. So the book could have been a little bit smaller, I think. It does have a little bit of spreads, like 1 card, 3 card, Celtic Cross, like kind of your traditional average ones. But I mean, for a beginner, if this was a beginner getting this book, I think that's good, because it's, you know, your regular stuff. I think this would be a good deck for beginners, because it does have the nice little succinct kind of mottos there. It's a colorful deck. It's Rider-Waite based. The definitions are nice, like the way that they're written. They're kind of more modern, which I really do appreciate. So I think it would be a good one for beginners. So that's okay. And then the cards themselves, it's the newer Llewellyn cardstock, which I have to say is an improvement over the cardboardy. I know there were complaints before the cardboardy stock that it was too thin, so they went to the thicker stuff, and then people complained about that. This stuff is thin and it's very slippery, so yeah, I do have to watch. It is really nice for rifle shuffling, but it is. Some people complain that it's kind of thin. I don't mind that. I don't actually like that it's flexible and thin. It's a little slippy, but I will take that over the thicker cardstock any day. So I don't mind that at all. Plus, you know, I would rather have them have the thinner cardstock and the nice box and book than have thicker cardstock and then like a flimsy box. So I will take the trade-off, and I realize they can only put so much cost into it, so that's fine. One thing I do really like about the cards is that they're borderless. which I really like. I used to never really think about borders, but now when I find a borderless deck, I really appreciate it. I've really grown to appreciate how they are. I love the color schemes that are going on. And this deck, it is kind of cartoony in some ways. It is, some people find it too kitschy because there's witch hats and everything, and there's cats and everything, but I personally love that. I kind of love the kitschiness of this deck. To me, it's a very 90s kind of deck. It makes me think of like Harry Potter. It makes me think of The Craft. It makes me think of this kind of like Silver Ravenwolf, kind of witchy, cheesy kind of style, but I really like that. And I find it's fun, but it's still a really accessible deck. There. The only card that I have an issue with, and there's cards I really love in here, like I really love the moon. It's beautiful. It's this one, Six of Swords, and I've heard other people talk about this too. To me, this is a very Seven of Swords picture, like running off with the wands. I would have preferred to see a boat in here. That would make it Six of Swords to me. So this one I always look at and I have to like do a double take on this one. So this is really the only card I have to complain about, just because it makes me think of another card. I like the cats and everything. I think that's really cute. Look at the cat there. That's really cute as well. I really just love this deck, and I find that it makes me think of the Green Witch Tarot in its style. I think it's the same artist. And I really like that deck too. If you're looking for a deck that is more serious or more ancient looking, or even one that's quite modern and contemporary, this may not be the deck for you. I mean, you have to like the art, right? I like this art. To me, it has like sort of a nostalgia to it. So I resonate with this deck. Yeah, I like that one there. It's Ten of Swords. It's trying to reach for his broom. So it has all the Rider-Waite symbolism in it. So I do think it would be a good deck for people just starting out that maybe they like the artwork, but I think it would be an easy deck to kind of learn with. So this was a really fun deck to work with for the month. Oh, I love this Four of Wands. I really love all the little witches and things, and when I've read for people with it, they've really liked it as well. So it is a very, I find it a very summery deck in a lot of ways. It's very positive, it has a nostalgia to it, it's very uplifting. Like I said, if you're not into kitschy things, it's probably not for you, or if you want something really modern or something that looks anciently pagan, this isn't the deck for you. But if you want something kind of fun and kind of kitschy and 90s, you can totally go with this deck. Most people I know seem to really like this deck that have worked with it, but if you've worked with it, let me know what you think. Do you really like it? Were there any drawbacks? Were there anything that you were concerned about? Let me know. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all next time.